Hey, hey, everyone. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi. I think we're going to do a little bit better job on the audio here. So I see people joining now. So let them go ahead and get on. Hey, Clary. Hey, Nina. Hey, Elaine. Hi, Rose.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. Yay, I can hear people. You guys can hear me. Excellent, excellent. Cool. So, just as you know, I will be asking a few of you in the first couple of minutes just how you're doing. Give me a quick little answer on just how things are going. We want to start off with new and good. It's got to be something positive, and then we'll get into some of the, some of the questions and concerns as we move forward. Since I have everyone unmuted to start, as everyone comes on, everyone is unmuted. Basically, you'll need to use your controls down on the bottom left. I think on the phone, it's still the bottom left. You'll see the little microphone, and then you're going to mute yourself, and then that'll just, if there's any background noise, we can mute that out. Otherwise, I may be calling on you to answer a question or just ask and see how y'all are doing. So, good, good, good. All right. So just gonna, yep, so I think I have, yep, so far one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, 6 including me. I think I got you. Hi, Pamela, I see you. Cool. All right, so we'll get going. Well, I won't keep anyone for too long to start, but I just want to make sure we capture as many people as we can. So we have 7 now. Cool. And actually, we can, I would like to actually speak for those of you that are already on. I'd like to see, just how things are going. Robin, I see you, so thank you for joining. Excellent. Ivy, I see you. Cool. Oh, I don't see you, but I see that you're on. Hi, Ivy.
No, she just logged on.
Yes, and also, so just to let you know, everyone is unmuted, so we can hear you unless you mute yourself, which is down on the bottom left of your screen, and the little controls there. You'll see also the chat button. Hey, Clary. No, cool. Got it. I got you, Clary. And yeah, so cool. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm going to be calling on a few people here. So the topic though, before I do, is all about sugar. It's the sugar blues. And I'm going to go through a few very important concepts here. And I also have a handout I'm going to share with you that I'll be able to go over briefly, but I want you to have it so that you can really get a handle on on how and why sugar has a big effect on you know this, but I'm going to give you some insight into it. First off, I'm just going to open the floor kind of up.
Pretty. Why you only have 1%?
I'm going to have you guys, let's see. Those of you that have some background noise, I'm going to want you to mute yourself.
You forgot your phone charger.
Okay, so there we go. All right. I can also mute you too, just in case. All right, so those of you out there, real quick, in like 30 seconds, does anyone want to let me know how things are going? What has been working for you since we last talked? And you can put it in the chat box as well if you like. What's been working? Anyone got the exercises, doing the exercises, like the exercises and the workouts?
Well, I did the chair exercise today, and it was a little rough. I mean,
Okay.
it was hard. I'm really feeling it in my legs. What I really liked was the 1-minute walk that someone shared. Now, that was really good. I was able to do that 5 days last week, and it felt really good.
Oh, good, good. Thank you, Elaine. That is wonderful to hear. Now, rough meaning rough, like it just
Rough,
made me sore. That's a good thing, right?
okay, rough meaning that I could actually feel it in my thighs and my arms. It was more intense than what I thought it would have been. I thought I could breeze through it, but I was getting a little tired in the middle of it. But I did push myself through.
Good. Okay, good. So rough meaning good. That's that's what I'm getting at. Excellent. Okay. Anyone? Thank you, Elaine. Anyone want to share? And we can even go into the food side. Have the app, has that been working well? Anyone want to comment on that? No. Raise it. And now, have you been utilizing the app? How about that? You can even give me a thumbs up if you're on mute. Have you been okay, good. Rose, been utilizing the app. Okay, I'm gonna go through now. Nina, have you been utilizing the app? What's that? The nutrition app? Maybe she can't hear me. Okay. Oh, okay. Marcella, I see you popped on. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sick. I got a cold, but I just tried to send a chat, but I couldn't. I don't see where I can send it.
Okay.
But anyway, I've had a death in the family, so I'm just getting back in town today and come back sick.
Okay.
So things been kind of off a little bit.
No worries. I thank you for being here, and I am sorry to hear that. Definitely our prayers are with you, and hey, let us know what we can do to help, and you just take your time, and we're here for you, okay? So thanks for being on here. Now, anyone else want to comment on how things have been going? No? Okay. Cool. I am going to assume that they're going well, and I want you guys to continue with it. And, let us know if we need to make any adjustments or if you have any questions on the food side. Your success, as far as we're in here to get well, but also for the weight loss, right? You got in the bod pod, we figured out the body fat and the weight, and marrying the food, proper food choices. We're going more on the lower carb style of eating, along with the exercise. That's going to be the magic key. Okay, but we want to infuse some lifestyle suggestions, and that's what we're going to talk about here, which is one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have, myself included, and that is with the sugar. So sugar also is, another word for sugar is simple carbs. Okay, so simple carbs, they can be very deadly in our quest towards, the chronic health diseases. So right now, I am going to, and again, remember, if you have a question as we move forward in this, I'm going to go through a little PowerPoint, and then I have a handout for you to towards the end. Then,
okay, there you go.
I'm going to go, okay, then I'm going to want you to put that in the chat box, put your question in the chat box. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen real quick. And we're going to go over to the sugar blues, okay? So I want to just shed some insight into this. I'm going to go ahead and play this from the beginning. So we're going to skip through here and go through. I first off wanted to let you know what my favorite sweet is. It is chocolate and peanut butter. I'm not immune to this. I eat healthy most of the time, but I love Subway chocolate chip cookies. And the key here is to understand, not to go overboard, but also don't try to prevent yourself from indulging 10, 20% of the time, okay? And if you like, you can put in there, here's what I want you to do. If you want to put in the chat one of your favorite sweets or desserts, what I can do is look back at that chat and be able to try to find an alternative to it, a healthy alternative. So what I mean by that is one of our classes may be a cooking class where I show you how to make some protein balls, okay? And they are chocolate and peanut butter, but just not with all the additives and preservatives and artificial crap that I know something like a Subway cookie has. So in the chat box, if there's something in there that some kind of dessert that that is your downfall, write it in there, and I will see if I can find an alternative after the session and then provide that back to you with the recipe or even demonstrate it on a future call. Okay, so we're going to Food in the Body 101. I'm going to go ahead and go through the presentation. So this, we're seeing in the top left is we eat some food. Next thing, in the middle picture, it goes into your mouth and your bloodstream and your organs. And then you go in and your body tries to digest it. Okay. Once your body digests it, you see on the left-hand side, it gets into our bloodstream. This is one very important concept I need you to know, because when you actually try to count calories as an only strategy towards health, wellness, and weight loss, it misses the whole point of the effect that certain unreal foods and too many sugars has on the body. So this is just showing everything that goes into your bloodstream, everything that passes your lips is going to get into your bloodstream and have an effect on the things that you see here. So your cells, your skeletal muscle, okay, the tissues, the skin, your spine, every single thing. And that's why we cannot just rely on counting calories. Okay, this is about a quality thing. Okay, next, this is important too, because when it comes to mental health and our emotions and depression and anxiety, the food that you eat that gets into your bloodstream, specifically sugar, has a very strong effect on our thoughts. It's very addictive, as you've heard, I'm sure, before. Okay, so not only does it affect the tissues of the body, eventually it can degrade and have an effect on our thoughts and on our mental state. So next I have a few kind of visuals of what we think of, some people, when it comes to being vegan. Then you've got vegetarian. When you see meat eaters, you might think of farmers. Here we have, you know, sometimes when we think of eating healthy, we think of just like trees and, you know, nature. But then when we think of meat, it's like, why do we have this, like, you know, feeling of rage or anger sometimes? It's not everyone, but I'm saying what I'm getting at is the different types of foods that we eat are going to have different effects on the body. And the key here, I've mentioned it already at the beginning, is not to do so much to one side. I'm not saying become vegan. I'm not saying become vegetarian or only eat meat or don't eat, you know, I'm saying we always have to have balance. And therein lies the key to what I'm going to tell you as to why we have sugar cravings in the first place. Okay, so oh my, we have a sugar high. Some of you have experienced headaches when you eat too much sugar. I know I do when I go overboard on the sugar. So we need to get a handle on what we eat and drink. But I just want you to know, it is not by willpower necessarily. Okay, it is not by discipline, maybe a little bit, but there's more that I want you to look into as to why we experience these sugar cravings and why we get the sugar blues. So key point here, understand what causes the crazy, uncontrollable cravings and know that you can reduce them naturally over time. It's not just by not bringing it in the house or, you know, telling your friends and family not to give it to you. That's one strategy, but there's more of an underlying issue that we need to be aware of and draw the connection to. So sugar is not the problem. It's actually a solution, and it's a solution that the human body naturally gravitates towards. What we mean by that is, okay, almost every one of us craves sugar. We usually go right for the most accessible sweet treat like cookies, candies, and cake, etc. That middle little orange box right there is extremely important for you to understand. Extremely important, because this is where your power comes. This is where you get into the driver's seat to get in front of the sugar cravings as best as you possibly can. So a sugar craving is simply the body asking for energy. So in the handout that I'm going to give to you, I'll email it to everyone. I'll show it to you here as long as I can get through this quickly, but thoroughly. There's so many different reasons why. So for example, lack of sleep. Lack of sleep means when you wake up and you're tired and you have not slept, your body is already in a state of not having energy. 9 times out of 10, that is a strong indicator that your cravings for sugar are going to increase later in the day. Okay, stress at the job, lack of sleep, stress, we all have it. So it's no wonder why a lot of us are struggling with the sugar blues. Bottom box. What we don't realize is that many healthy alternatives can help alleviate the sweet cravings. And I also want you to know that the food industry is at work on this as well. They know this, and they're trying to make us be like weak. They know what our weak spot is. They know exactly what I'm telling you in terms of why we experience the sugar cravings. And so they play with our taste buds, and they do things that they know that we will become addicted to, that they create foods that we'll become addicted to. And so then a lot of us think it becomes willpower or discipline that we need to avoid these things. But I'm telling you, if once we know what's going on a little bit better, we can get into the driver's seat and make better choices as often as you possibly can. Okay, so sugar is not the problem, it's the solution. I'm gonna state that again. And here is where I wanna explain the difference between simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Because, as you know, and I think this is just so important because we're starting off with, you know, Dr. Daniels has shown you the research of the low carb style of eating and how well it does in terms of losing body fat. Okay, so simple carbohydrates, we know that those are carbohydrates that are like your white bread, your white pastas, your instant oatmeals. Okay, and let's see what else. Almost all processed foods, cakes, candies, cookies, versus complex carbs. Complex carbs just means the actual chain of the carbohydrate is a little bit stronger and a little bit longer. And all those examples would be your vegetables, your some of your fruits, and some of your grains that are whole grains. So the word carbohydrate, you know, I want you guys to make sure that you distinguish between simple carbohydrate and complex carbohydrate, because the body needs carbohydrates in order to fuel itself for energy. It's just we've been trained to think that all carbs are bad, but they're not. They have a very different effect on the body. Okay, so we got to get a handle on what we eat and drink. So no to the simple carbohydrates. We've got your examples down there. Okay, you see, obviously Coke, and in that Diet Coke, you see it obviously doesn't have sugar in it, but it's got artificial sugar in it, cookies, and a lot of things on the in the grocery store that on the inner aisles that can create problems. Alternatively, your complex carbohydrates. This is the picture of some examples. Okay, you've got grains, and here is where each body may differ on what you can tolerate. Okay, so some of the fruits that Dr. Daniels has in his, in that original presentation are, he's recommending that we just put to the side, because even though they are natural fruits, natural sugars, they can have an effect on someone that is trying to lose weight that may be sensitive to it. But these are whole, complex carbohydrates that are still going to break down into sugar, but the timing of it takes a lot longer for complex carbohydrates to break down into sugar versus the simple carbohydrates. This right here gives you that spike, and then you just have all this energy for like 2 minutes, just being, a little bit longer than that, and then you just have the downfall. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is proteins versus carbohydrates. So now we know the difference between carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, and complex carbohydrates. But I want you to know too that when it comes to protein, we need protein. However, the high protein diets are fashionable now, and carbohydrate has become a dirty word associated in people's minds with the obesity crisis. Where it's absurd is where complex carbohydrates really can be very beneficial for the body. But the simple carbohydrates is what we need to eliminate, okay, that distinction there. Middle box, carbohydrates provide much of the energy needed for normal body functions, such as heartbeat, breathing, digestion, and for exercise. Okay, and then the bottom, we already said, the problem is that we're eating carbohydrate-rich foods that have been deformed and denatured. Simple sugars can lead to weight gain because our cells do not require large amounts of glucose at one time, and the extra sugar is stored as fat. But it's not the case with complex carbohydrates, okay? Simple versus complex. So here's some other options for some complex carbohydrates. And another thing that you can think of when you think of the word complex carbohydrates is fiber. That's what makes a complex carbohydrate a lot more beneficial for the human body, is because it has fiber in it. That fiber is so needed. We know we need fiber for our bowel movements. We need fiber to help add bulk to our stools, but also fiber helps you feel fuller longer. Simple carbohydrates do not have fiber in it, and therefore that's why it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, simple versus complex carbohydrates. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip a couple things, you know, that we have mentioned, Juice Plus. In terms of getting the variety of complex carbohydrates, even if you do reduce fruits. This is where the benefit comes in. I'll only talk about this for a little bit because it's just an option. But I remember when I was a fitness competitor, the whole goal is to reduce carbohydrates so low so that you shed as much body fat as possible. And the way we did it was we eliminated all fruit, like no berries, nothing. But what I realized over time is that I eliminated, and everyone that does this eliminates all of the nutrients that comes from all of those wonderful, colorful fruits that you see. Berries, apples have something different in them that unlocks the key to health. So the Juice Plus is something that helps bridge the gap. So when you are doing low carb, this is all it is the powders, freeze dried and cold pressed, put into a capsule or chewable. And while you're eating low carb and not eating the banana or not eating the apple because it might be a little bit higher carb, at least this is allowing yourself to get nutrients into the body through a very convenient way. So just want to put that bug in your ear. Also, you may see this in the springtime when I grow mine, but the Tower Garden allows you to grow your own fruits and vegetables. And those are also, again, like we're talking about sources of carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates. So from a food standpoint, the best way to curb or alleviate intense sugar cravings is to provide the body with the sweetness that it needs by regularly eating naturally sweet foods and consuming more of the balanced foods. Okay. Now, another note on sugar. So do you like sugar? Well, so does cancer, inflammation, diabetes, yeast, arthritis, insomnia, and most other diseases. So this is extremely important. What this means is when your body is an environment full of sugar, that's exactly where these diseases want to go. It's almost like you're attracting it by continuing to eat sugar. So not only from a weight loss or fat loss standpoint, sugar, it's addictive, and also these diseases thrive in a sugar environment. So it's kind of like a double whammy, but I know we love it so much. So here's what happens. The cycle. Number one, on the top left, you eat sugar, you like it, you crave it, it has addictive properties. Bam, you go over to the blood sugar levels spike. Dopamine is released in the brain. Remember I told you the foods that we eat have an effect on the brain, which can have an effect on your thoughts and have an effect on anxiety, depression, euphoria. It's all linked right there, and it's very obvious. I think we just don't really connect it all the time. And then the blood sugar level drops after a certain amount of time with a simple carbohydrate, a simple sugar. Sugar is a simple carbohydrate. 3, the blood sugar level falls rapidly. High insulin levels cause immediate fat storage. Body craves the lost sugar high. So all of a sudden, okay, your blood sugar went up, then went down, and now you're in a state again where I started off the presentation. Your body is searching for that energy or that sugar high. So what do? You get hunger and cravings, then your blood sugar level drops, and it increases your appetite, cravings increase, and then it just goes back to number one. So we got to stop it somewhere in the middle there, okay? Somewhere we have to acknowledge what's going on and make a change right there in the moment. So here's just a little snippet. The average American child consumes the equivalent of a 5-pound bag of sugar per week. Now that is crazy. I think isn't that about one of the bags of sugar that you would, cane sugar you would buy? I mean, it's ridiculous. And that just comes in the form of so many different processed foods, hidden sugars. We're going to uncover those as I go through I'm hoping to do a virtual grocery store tour or partial with you guys, because that's going to show you what I'm talking about. I mean, this is from, I don't know, I want to check the time. Okay, anywhere from like the high fructose corn syrup in your ketchup, or any of those sauces, not to pick on Chick-fil-A, but those sauces have a lot of stuff in it that is contributing little by little, and it adds up and adds up. So sugar is addicting. Research shows it qualifies as an addictive substance for 2 reasons. 1, even eating a small amount can create a desire for more. And suddenly quitting eating a lot of sugar causes withdrawal symptoms like headaches, mood swings, cravings, and more cravings, and fatigue. So sugar is not the problem, it's the solution. Here on the lifestyle level, I would say 9 times out of 10 with my one-on-one clients, the reason cravings appear is, like I said, 9.5 times out of 10, I'll say, is one of these things right here on the list. So that word on the left says deconstruct, because this is where, again, you're going to get your power when it comes to trying to figure out, why do I always have these sugar cravings? When is it happening? What situation is triggering it? So yes, could be loneliness, boredom, sadness, need for comfort. We already talked about the last 2, low energy, like low physical energy, maybe from lack of sleep, and also stress. We've got to be able to pinpoint or look into what might be going on when we experience these sugar cravings, because that is actually where you're going to take your power back. Not just, let me just see if I can push it away, because if it's boredom, the boredom's going to come back. What can you do about the boredom, to be able to get through and not create that trigger to wanting more sugar? So we're going to skip that, skip the primary foods. So what to do when you get a craving? I know these might seem really cheesy and like, Michelle, that's not going to work, but it's a start. This is in the moment. Okay, what I was talking about before is like, let's get to the root cause of it, because that's going to give you the ability to manage these sugar cravings long term. Get to the root of it. Develop different strategies. But in the moment, some things that can work would be, okay, if you just like have that Little Debbie right in front of you, or you're at the the gas station, you're like, I just need this. Someone just cut me off. There's some road rage going on. Take a deep breath. Another strategy could be drink some water. Look at your primary food picture. Now I skipped over that primary food picture. All that means is your lifestyle. Like in that example, someone just cut me off, so that made me mad. I need to develop a better strategy towards dealing with that than just using food. In the moment, we can choose naturally sweet foods or balanced foods. So this is where I'm going to help you in a future coaching session, show you how to make some naturally sweet protein balls, some naturally sweet, fruits and vegetables. And like there's something with dates. Dates you may only need 1, but again, it's going to be a better option versus a Snickers bar or something like that. But actually dates with almond butter and dates with peanut butter, just a little bit dipped in there, is a wonderful way to stave off a sugar craving. If you've never had dates, that is okay. I encourage you to try them. One day you can get them at any grocery store. I had not tried them until I was like 35. So be open to some of these options, because again, it puts you in the driver's seat. And then get some help balancing out some things that may not be in your immediate control. So our bodies, they know what to do. We just have to start listening. And basically that is the last point that I want to make, is your body knows. You just got to listen to it. Don't think that it's about a calorie here and a calorie there always. There's always something underlying to it. And a lot of people, and myself included, did not make that connection. I didn't make that connection until I started learning and really trying to take control. So, that was saying if there's any, that's it. That's all I have. Although I'm going to go over the handout that I'm going to send you just briefly in the last couple minutes. But this, I was just saying, for future sessions, I've got a whole year's worth of content to share with you to help you on your journey for wellness and weight loss, fat loss specifically. But I always like to know what the group thinks and if they have any specific suggestions. You guys did this in the poll last time, but this helps me cater the content to the group, because some groups want something completely different than other groups. So I encourage you to enter any suggestions in the chat box for future coaching sessions, and we will definitely get those going and consider those. Okay, so next, cool. I want to share one other thing, and that is 10 tips for dealing with sugar addiction. And I'm just going to read through these, and you guys, I'll send you, this is the handout that I'll send you. Number 1, reduce or eliminate caffeine. You don't have to eliminate, but if you can reduce it, the ups and downs of caffeine include dehydration and blood sugar swings and may cause sugar cravings to become more frequent. Number 2, drink water. Sometimes sweet cravings are just a sign of dehydration. And that word, deconstruct the sugar craving in the moment. That's where this comes from. So like I said, the Little Debbie's in front of you. You know you want it, or the cherry Coke or whatever. Right then and there, I want you to be like, okay, why am I craving this? Oh gosh, I'm dehydrated. That's probably why. Now, if you end up eating the Little Debbie or the cherry Coke or whatever anyway, that's fine. I really just want you to get used to deconstructing in the moment, like figuring out what is the root cause of this so that you can possibly catch it or insert something in there, another strategy or habit to turn it in the opposite direction as often as you possibly can. 3, eat sweet vegetables and fruit. They are naturally sweet, healthy, and delicious. The more you eat, the less you'll crave sugar. This is absolutely true. For people that end up eating more fruits and vegetables over time, and they crowd out the artificial foods and the processed foods, your taste buds are going to change. And I may go ahead and show a clip. I think it's a 60 minutes clip. I showed it with Sizewise Group a couple years ago, but it's all about the flavoring industry. It's amazing that you'll see, you know, what goes on in there and why we feel so powerless. But when you see this, you'll know you can take your power back. 4, avoid chemicalized artificial sweeteners and foods with added sugar. Use gentle sweeteners like maple syrup, brown rice syrup, dried fruit, stevia, and barley malt. So some of those you may not, I don't even know where to get barley malt, probably at a health food store. Don't worry about knowing all of them, but it's just, you know, saying try to switch the type of sugar as a first move, and then eventually you'll be able to use sweet fruits and vegetables to be able, I know it sounds crazy, but you will, to be able to kind of get rid of the sugar craving a little bit. 5, get physically active. You guys are doing this. Start with simple activities like walking or yoga, 10 minutes a day, and gradually increase. Being active helps balance blood sugar levels, boosts energy, and reduces tension, which will eliminate the need to self-medicate with sugar. And just a few more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, we already touched on this. Get more sleep, rest, and relaxation. Then the simple carbohydrates such as sugar are the most readily usable forms of energy for an exhausted body and mind. If you're in a chronic state of stress and or sleep deprivation, your body will crave the quickest form of energy there is, which is sugar. We talked about that. 7, evaluate the amount of animal food you eat. So according to the yin yang principles, this is more on the Chinese medicine side, but I want you all to get a glimpse of it. It's saying eating too much animal food, too much. I'm saying like more than necessary. I'm saying like 2-3 times a day. It can lead to cravings for the opposite type of food, which is more for sweets. Okay, and also imbalances can occur. I'm still on number 7. With your sugar cravings, they can occur with eating too little animal protein for some. So through experimentation and intuition, you can find which foods create balance for you as an individual. 8, eliminate fat-free or low-fat packaged snack foods. So this one, I'm gonna say, can be debatable, but to continue, these foods contain high quantities of sugar to compensate for lack of flavor and fat. So that also creates sugar highs and lows. 9, experiment with spices. Coriander, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, cardamom. Those were all foreign to me just like 10 years ago. I did not cook. I did not know how to use those, but I learned. And I'm so glad I did, because it will open up a whole new world of opportunity of food choices that taste good, that are not high in sugar, so flavorful, and it'll really allow you to not have to rely on those sweets. So they'll naturally sweeten your food and reduce cravings. Number 10, finally, to wrap up, is slow down and find sweetness in non-food ways. So every craving is not a signal that your body biologically requires sugar. Cravings often have a psychological component. We touched on this. But by identifying the psychological causes of food cravings and substituting lifestyle and relationship adjustments accordingly, you can begin to find balance and take charge of your health. So when life becomes sweet itself, no additives are needed. I know that might seem like, yeah, right, whatever, but it is very true. It's very true in this day and age. If you have had no success trying to count calories or just focusing on the food, if you have not had the success with your weight loss, then, these are other areas I want you to feel excited about, that there's other ways of looking at this to capture your health and to start getting things going. So dig down in there. As a health coach, this is what makes us a little bit different than a dietitian or nutritionist, because we do see the strong connection and correlation to lifestyle and our ability to make healthy food choices in a number of ways. So, okay, it is 7:05, and that is it. This is the handout that I'm going to give to you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share right now so I can see everyone. I think we still have 6 people on the call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we have more than that. No, we have 8 people on the call. I see a lot of items in the chat box. Yes, I see some of your favorite snacks. Okay, I got to reconstruct Oreo, McFlurry, and Snickers. Nice. That's Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. Oreos and ice cream. That's from Clary. Dark chocolate. Everything has a chocolate. Oreos. I see Oreo like 4 times. Oreo, McFlurry, and Snickers. Oreos and ice cream. Okay, Starbucks caramel macchiato. Okay, reduced vanilla to half a pump and dark chocolate. Cool. And nice. So then I see if I don't buy sweets, I don't eat it. However, I refuse to purchase sodas or packaged sweets. So yeah, I think once you see the harm that this can do, you just number one, just think twice about it. And then next step is to make better choices, minimize it. And, I don't say, hey, go cold turkey and don't ever have it again. That's not going to happen. That's not even the definition of that quote unquote healthy lifestyle. The healthy lifestyle is 80 to 90% of the time, you get all those wonderful nutrients. You enjoy the food. It's flavorful. It's serving your body well. 10, 20% of the time, okay, choose, or have something that you may not or you should not have, but you can also try to recreate it. And your body's going to tell you. If you start getting bubbly in the stomach and headaches from some of these things, more and more you're going to want the healthier option. And that really does happen. It happens over time. Okay, and Rose says, I like to exercise of the 1 minute walk. Cool, well, I like to exercise of the 1 minute walk. Okay, perfect, thank you so much. Now, I'm going to open it up. If anyone wants to come off mute and just share or ask me any questions, I'm pretty much done with my information I want to give you today on sugar and carbohydrates. So any questions? Did anyone get, was this good information for you? You can nod, give me a thumbs up.
Great information.
Say that again, Pamela.
Great information. Really, really enjoy it.
Thank you, good. Anyone else? Okay, Rose, I'm gonna take you off. I'm gonna unmute you, Rose. Oh. Can you unmute yourself, Rose? Because I see you, I think you're trying to talk, but yeah, there you go.
The 10 tips were somewhat in line with what I was thinking and dealing with, in that what the root cause behind the eating the sweets. That's what I've been kind of dealing with over the last week. So when you came with the 10 tips, it kind of supported you know, the direction in which I was focused in, the root cause.
Good. Thank you for that. Yeah. And just making that connection, like I said, you put yourself in the driver's seat. Doesn't mean you're not going to do a sweet here and there, but as soon as you pay attention, like you have, and you correlated that, it's like really everything can change. Your trajectory can really change when it comes to that, when it comes to managing sweets, and in turn, direct relationship to the ability to burning body fat. Well, I'll say indirect. It's an indirect relationship, but thank you for that, Rose. Any other comments, questions, suggestions? No? Cool. Thank you, guys. I'm so glad that this was a little smoother. I'm glad to, I really enjoy hearing your questions and seeing you guys. So, hey, let's have fun with this. Let's keep it going. And I see smoothie recipes from Ivy, smoothie recipes from Robin. Yep. So we have a ditto on the smoothie. So next session, maybe I will do a smoothie demo, and then I'll make sure to get you guys the recipe, and I'll see if I can do 2. We have 30 minutes together typically. And so I probably can do 2 smoothies, and then I'm going to explain how we can make the smoothie healthy, because a smoothie, you can do an unhealthy smoothie and you can do a not so healthy smoothie, as you know. But it's going to taste good, and I encourage you to try it. So maybe what I'll do too is send the recipe out to everyone, the 2 recipes beforehand. And if you want, you can try it yourself before, or you can try it with me. I'm essentially just going to put my camera in the kitchen, have my smoothie, and kind of talk to you about the different ingredients and just throw them in and, you know, just really demo it. And I guess I'll drink it. I won't be able to give you guys samples, but yeah, I'll show you the benefit of it and make it really, really tasty, and also in line with more of a lower carb type of smoothie. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that next week. Anything else, ladies and maybe gentlemen? Yep, Clarence, I see that he's on here. Nope. All right. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. And we're going to end the meeting here. And then in 2 more weeks, I will be chatting with you again with the smoothie demo and recipes. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Bye.